Hi everybody, my name is Russell Compton and I'm the product lead here at CrewVision, and I wanted to show you around our map creation and sharing product that we call CV Maps. It's our map first approach to property and dispatch management. So let me show you around. First off, to get to CrewVision online, you're going to have to either go from our website, which is https www.crewvision.io, and as you can see on every top of the right hand screen there's a login button, or you can just go straight to the application login screen, which is at https app.crewvision.io. So once you get there, just put in your credentials, log in, and then what you will be taken to is the default view, which is a visual inventory of all the properties you manage in your service region. The system basically looks and operates like Google Maps, where you can quickly browse and zoom around your service region, click on map elements, and get quick information about those properties. And you can get in a lot deeper to each property should the need arise. So the maps that, just so you know what we're looking at here, the maps that we're looking at comes from our sister organization, Mr. Mo et al., which is the property maintenance company that CrewVision was initially designed for. They manage roughly 5,500 properties in the system here, with many of these properties being mapped for multiple seasons. And now, just before I get too much further in here, a quick note about navigation. And all navigation in CrewVision takes you on this left-hand menu. And if ever you get lost, you just need to come back to the map browser, which is the main screen over here. Also, while you're here, let me just go down how all this works. We have a portfolio. The portfolio is all of the your business across your service region, which would include all the properties you manage, all the customers you work for, and any contacts you may have. Assets, on the other hand, are things that you own. The first one is the company map, which is all of your vendor relationships you may have in a service region. So we get to define what we're looking at on the map based on the company map, and all of your relationships there too if you want. We manage employees and the employee manager, vehicles, and crews if you guys get the dispatch module in addition to the CV maps, which the dispatch module is on top of this, but we can get to that another day. Let's just explain how all this works. So first things first, the layers button down here. CrewVision gives you the ability to filter what maps are in the background. These are all based off the Google Maps API on the main browser screen, so you can either use their satellite, hybrid, road map, or Google Terrains. And as you can see, they'll switch in real time and update here. Also, you get to say if you want to show pins or property boundaries, service areas, and just make your map look and behave the way you want here. So this is how you set the output of this map browser. You just toggle that back and forth when you're done. Up at the top, we have the ability to filter our list of properties that are in the property manager. I mentioned earlier that this company has roughly 5,500 properties in here, and I don't want to look at all of them right now. So what I've gone and done is applied a couple filters, and the map is displaying information based on that. In this situation, I selected a series of property statuses. For example, is it an active account? Also, I selected a few property types like government buildings, residential, condo apartments, medical. So based upon that, we get 2,798 results. And the entirety of the outlay of this system is based upon that. I'm just going to turn the pins off because when you have this many properties, showing the pins can slow things down a bit. Quite frankly, I just like seeing the service layers anyway. But now that we have filtered this map by those 2,798 properties, we can actually get real-time information about those properties region-wide. So what you do is you click your legend, and then you get real-time information about all of those properties at the click of a button. So in this situation, we're looking at snow maps across the Greater Toronto Area, and they have 24 million square feet, over 1,286 plowing areas, sidewalk tractor areas. It's obviously used much more, 3,595 of those with 7 million square feet. So more frequently, smaller areas, obviously. Hand shoveling, 4,400 places where hand shoveling across the city, just short of 2 million square feet, and so on. So this gives us real-time information and really helps us with things like understanding how much material or fuel or machines we're going to need citywide in any given situation. Getting back to the filters I mentioned earlier, now that we have these 2,798 properties showing, we can also apply a search query on top of that. And in this case, I'm going to hit City Hall, which will bring up Toronto City Hall down here, and it'll focus the map in on that property with the property overview module displaying, which shows the address, the property, is an active account, what type of building it is, what seasons we service, how many square feet we service on that, and what the overall acreage is, and who the customer is in this situation, City of Toronto. Just move it over here. Also, you'll notice if you log into your mobile device, you get the exact same interface for moving around the map browser, where you can pick the background maps that you want to see. You can show what map elements you're displaying. You can filter the properties that are being displayed in front of you. And you can also search for properties as well. When you do search, you click on it, similar to you do here in the desktop view, and it will take you down to that property where you can also get details about the property as well. Coming back to the desktop part, third way to get information about this is if you go through our Portfolio Properties Manager, which I have open over here in another tab, and you can search for the property here in list view as well. We have lots of list views, just like all other portals, but we just try to keep people working on maps as much as possible. Here's Toronto City Hall. If you wanted to get right into the map editing, you can click from here, or you can just click on the blue link and it'll go right in. As you can see, the same information is displaying that was displaying in the property overview mode module in the other page. So let's get into the property. Once you're inside a module in CrewVision, you'll notice the menu gets skinny and goes to the left-hand side over here. In this situation, we're in the properties module. So you get a series of different menu items related to the property. If you had gone to the map edit function from either the map browser or the list view, it would take you to the second page here for the property, where if you go from the list view, you get to the default profile view. And what that is all of the information related to the property, the thumbnail for the property, which we use Google Maps scraping capacity, or you can upload your own images, who's affiliated with the property, notes, data tags, who's any contacts that may be affiliated with the property. Also, we can get a list of every time we've ever serviced that property, if you have the dispatch module, any contracts that may be affiliated with that property, and of course the media gallery, which is a history of any and all media and documents affiliated to the property put in here. And this is from some snowstorms about a week ago, where we can see we finished all the jobs, put the salt down, and then we send these images out to the customer to let them know that their property's been sorted. And finally, here's the map edit screen, which is the most fun screen, and usually where you go to directly if you go from the map browser. This here is our property editor, and this for the property for Toronto City Hall. And as you can see, this looks identical to the map browser view, with the only difference being that we're being focused within these pink boundary lines, and everything else outside of that is being excluded. So this is what we refer to as our external boundary. It's the first thing you have to set when you create a map. And once that's set, any geotagging or any service operations will happen within inside of this only. And also any drawing, illustrating, communication back and forth related to this property will happen within inside of those external boundaries. The rest of the stuff we're looking at here, we have a full screen button up there. Go to full screen mode like I am. A list of all of the areas that you service for a given season. Any objects, things that may be on the map. In this situation, we're just servicing spaces, not things. An object is a thing that can be serviced. Pins are any instruction pins you may put on a map, and we have different pins to reference, like icons to reference different situations. Those pins can include text, images, and or video. So we really want people to communicate back and forth from the office or from the site. So you may, for example, want to put in a gate code or something to that effect, and say down here we can put a pin, and we would say, hey, let's put a gate code over here to make sure you know what you're looking at. You put in pin details, an image, or multiple images, set the type of pin that you're looking for, what maps you want to put it on, and then hit save. I'm not going to put anything on. This is a live map. I don't want to mess with the guy's stuff. Also, you can do high resolution printouts based on the information you're showing. You can zoom in and even crop certain areas that you may want to see, include what elements you may want to do, and then you can generate a report based on this information, and we'll drop a high-res PDF. close that up for now. In addition, we also have the ability to use our standard Google Maps, which really works for 90+% of all mapping scenarios. But sometimes it's not good enough, or sometimes trees are in the way. So we have a map vendor named Nearmap, where on a per property basis, you can go in and select any of the time they've flown over and taken high resolution imagery and switch it out. And actually, this property had one taken. Oh, there's been a few taken there, so I'll put one in there. As you'll see, the tiles will switch out shortly, and you get much higher resolution imagery. It's going to update shortly. There we go. And you can see much, much higher resolution detail of these people and this fountain here. In addition, I'm not sure if you can see here, but we have as many seasons as you want, and any season you may want. You can have an infinite amount of maps on those seasons. I was mentioning the service areas before, which are these vectors on the map. Basically, we've given you guys lots of draw tools and the ability to freely draw as many areas as you want. As soon as you drop an area on a map, you get a real-time square footage of that area. And similar service area types in this situation, in this winter scenario, we're going to use a lot of sidewalk tractors. They culminate together down here for, I might have to zoom in for you, 182,000 square feet of total service area for that type. So you can see there's a series of different types of service areas, and they all add up down here, which becomes the basis for the calculus that we saw in the map browser, where everything totaled together. Further tools that we give for all these service areas, the ability to add data tags. We do that also to photos and objects as well, or any media. The ability to clone an area. So, for example, you want to clone this area, you get a second area there, which is identical, and you can actually move it around, or you can cancel it. They don't want to mess with their maps. You can add textures. You can actually see some black lines here. There's different textures. We're adding in some more libraries too, so you can make these these similar service areas have different textures should the need arise. You can cut areas out and make complex shapes. So you don't just have to have an external shape only. As you can see with this example, there's lots of complex shapes that have been made. That's with this little hexagon inside of the hexagon there. And you can delete them and edit them as well. Those tools are over here on the right-hand side as well. I think that's all of the tools. I'm going to do another video where we get into the nitty-gritty of advanced mapping and advanced usage, both on mobile and desktop. But for now, I think the main thing to do is just let you guys see this overview and get a good taste for CrewVision and see how we visually manage our inventories and assets, and then get them to work on the mobile devices as well and share them amongst the crew and really get complex information across. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me. You can always find me on LinkedIn at CrewVision, and there's a scheduling link. We can always do demos. If you guys want to try this out for your company, there's always a month free trial. We'd love to show you around and show you how this can help your company out. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.